Just when all San Francisco fans thought they were going to have a relatively drama-free offseason this year after extending players like Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Fred Warner, Jauan Jennings decided to change that because he recently requested a trade or new contract entering training camp. And for San Francisco, this really changes everything since he was slated to be their number one wide receiver. So in this video, I want to go over what it would actually take San Francisco to extend the 13th best wide receiver across the NFL according to PFF last year. But as we know, San Francisco hasn't been afraid to move off players this season, and they've already added youth to the position, so San Francisco once again could decide to trade Jennings, so we'll talk about that as well. But initially starting out, we need to talk about why Jennings actually wants a new contract or to be traded to a team that will give him a new contract. Last year, he had his first near 1,000 yard season, putting up 975 yards, and if not ejected for blocking someone into the ground, something San Francisco loves out of him, he would have probably hit 1,000. On top of that, I'm sure Jennings and his agent are looking at San Francisco's wide receiver room and saying, right now, I have all the leverage. Not only did they trade away Deebo Samuel this offseason, Brandon Ayuk is still recovering from his injury, Demarcus Robinson is suspended to start the season, and most recently, Ricky Pearsall was injured, meaning San Francisco would have to rely on players like Jacob Cowing and Jordan Watkins, who I think have a ton of potential, but haven't really produced at the next level just yet. Meanwhile, Jennings has consistently improved, I think, as a player in his NFL career, and last year was his best year yet with Purdy, and every single time on third down, Jennings seemingly picked it up. And that's a big reason he ranked 13th among all wide receivers according to PFF. But now, we need to talk about what it would actually take San Francisco to extend him. With the first option not being a multi-year extension, but just through the season to make Jauan Jennings a little bit more happy, with many reports saying that would cost right around $12 million. And it does seem like this is the most likely conclusion to this scenario, as San Francisco probably wants to see Jauan Jennings replicate the success he had last season, especially when you consider contracts they've given out to players like Deebo Samuel, who had an insane season and then kind of fell off after that. I mean, he was still a great player, but wasn't living up to that contract they gave him. Meanwhile, Jennings could also potentially cash in on a one-year deal. First, he does get an improvement in pay immediately from San Francisco, and if he is able to replicate the success he had last season, and right now he has a lot of opportunity ahead of him, so there's a lot of reasons to think he would. Rather than making maybe $15 million annually on a multi-year deal, so maybe $45 million for 3 years, you could see that skyrocket and maybe make $20 to $25 million annually. Which brings us to option 2 for San Francisco. They could extend Jennings to a multi-year deal this year and potentially get a great savings if he is a player that can replicate the success he had last season. I also think this is a really nice long-term insurance policy at the position, given the fact that you don't know how Brandon Ayuk is actually going to look coming back from his injury. With that being said, it does seem like San Francisco is determined to make this year a year in which their cap space can be set right, so they could decide Jennings isn't worth the contract he's seeking and move off of him. And according to Bleacher Report, there are some potential trade packages San Francisco could consider. With the first being with the Las Vegas Raiders, San Francisco would receive a third-round pick, as well as a young wide receiver, Trey Tucker. During his first 2 years in the league, he's steadily improved, and when you look at him athletically, it's what Shanahan wants recently. He runs his 40-yard dash in 4.4 seconds, and his 10-yard split in a blistering fast 1.48 seconds. Granted, he is a different player than Jauan Jennings, coming in at 5'9", weighing 182 pounds, so he'd be more like a gadget player in Shanahan's offense, but they do have a young rookie in Isaiah Neyor, who is a bigger player and has all the potential. On top of that, a third-round pick is extremely valuable for San Francisco. I mean, that's the same round they picked up Dominic Punion, so they could pick up their maybe future center or left tackle there. Moving on to their next potential trade, San Francisco could decide to ship Jennings to the Patriots and receive a 4th-round pick, as well as a 2nd-round pick last year, Ja'Lynn Polk. And while Polk did struggle a little bit as a rookie, recording less than 100 yards receiving, there is a reason he could transfer over to San Francisco and see a lot of success. He comes in at 6'1", weighing 200 pounds, and he ran his 40-yard dash in 4.52 seconds, so he has pretty prototypical measurements as well as showing off pretty great things during his college film, which is why he was a 2nd-round pick. but still, I would rather see San Francisco get a player with raw production at the NFL level. And they could do that by trading away Jennings to the Pittsburgh Steelers, receive a 3rd round pick, as well as Calvin Austin III, who ran his 40-yard dash in a blistering fast 4.32 seconds, and already during his 2-year NFL career, he's been pretty productive. Last year, for instance, he had over 500 yards, and during his NFL career so far, he's had over 700. Once again, he is on the smaller side of things, so he's not a player like Jennings who you can just throw the ball up to and he'll bring it down. So San Francisco may decide that they only want draft capital for Jennings, which is why Bleacher Report said they could trade him to the Jets and receive a 5th round pick in this year's draft, as well as a 3rd round pick in the 2027 NFL draft. Once again, these draft picks are extremely valuable for San Francisco, but someone who's probably more valuable than all of these draft picks is a player like Jauan Jennings. I mean, if you trade away Jennings heading into the season, you'd be left scrambling to find a true number 1. And while a player like Watkins has been extremely promising, that's a lot to expect out of rookie, especially not a 1st round rookie, or even a 2nd round rookie. Which is why I'd rather see San Francisco go with either option 1 or 2, extend him to a 1-year deal, which probably would be beneficial to both sides, or a multi-year deal. But now, I want to hear your thoughts about Jauan Jennings requesting a trade if not given a new contract. Would you like to see San Francisco give him that contract, or trade him away to one of these parties? It would also mean a ton to me if you did enjoy this video to go ahead and like and subscribe. It really does help out a ton, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.